morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to everybody out there in YouTube land. And welcome back to the Ambassadorial Wing and another installment of the Council of the Ones Babylon 5 review. And so glad to see so many familiar faces in the chat. Glad to have my council back here with me to this afternoon. And it is good to see you all. Hope you all are having a great weekend. It's kickoff to hopefully a great weekend for you. And we are back with our continuation of our review of season 5 of Babylon 5. And as always, make sure you smash that like button, share this stream out with all of your sci-fi friends who love great sci-fi just like we do here. And as always, if this is your first visit to the council, to the ambassadorial wing, and you like what we're doing here, hit that subscribe button and become a part of the ambassadorial wing. And my friends, my fellow council members, it has been a week and it's been a very eventful week, and it is good to see you all as always. Hope you all are having a great day. And like I said, great to have you all back. I've missed you guys. So
I have got my coffee.
And to the chat, you don't have to be crazy, but it helps.
It's indeed.
In this episode, I would say it's Jakar One-Liners Day. Yeah,
definitely.
So, and shout to the chat, one of our regulars. Always a pleasure to have him here. Archer Colin. Colin, it is good to see you. And before we get started with the review, I do want to give you all an update on a personal nature on my end of things. For those of you that I have filled in on this both publicly and privately, me and Madam Ambassador over the last few months, well, since late last year, have been trying to find. We have been preparing to relocate, to move. Well, I had a heart-to-heart with our landlady the other day, and to give you all the short version, for the time being, we get to stay put. We don't have to move. So,
well, the Lord works in mysterious ways. That's great news.
Yes, he does. That's awesome, man.
Hell. Yes, he does. Well, to not bore you with the all the details, essentially there was some miscommunication on our landlady's part and so on, and we were able to iron all that out. There was no hard feelings or anything. It was just simple miscommunication. So I had put a pin in several projects and everything that I was going to be doing for the channel. One in particular is, of course, Project Ultra Retro, which was going to be my video and streaming series discussing the cinema of the 1930s through the 1970s. And, of course, Project Unity of the Fourth, which was my Star Wars radio drama fan fiction that I'm going to be putting in production here soon. But now that we have that bit of real world weight off of our backs, I can move forward with those projects. And of course, we will be continuing our reviews and everything of season 5 of Babylon 5, and of course of Crusade, and of the last couple of TV movies when those come up in the chronological order. So, but that being said, today, now that all that business is out of the way, let's get into the episode of the week.
Cue Whitney Houston, because Jakar's the bodyguard.
Yeah. And today we are breaking down the episode in the Kingdom of the Blind. And this is a very, very interesting episode with a lot of pieces on the board. So I have let's open up the floor. Let's open up discussion. My fellow council members, my friends, where would you like to begin?
The supreme irony of Jakar just wandering about the apex of Centauri life and yes, I'm his bodyguard. You have a problem with that?
I freaking love this. I was just relishing in every single drop of moment. And man, Jakar, his charisma is just through the roof. And it's funny because he mentioned that because he lost an eye, he sees things clearly. And now he's back to where he was enslaved. And it's called Kingdom of the Blind. I think that's an interesting play on themes as we do here. I just want to point that out. But yeah, he's just hilarious, especially when it comes in. He's like, "When's lunch or dinner? I'm starved." Good. He's just making himself way at home. I love it.
I know it's like it's a hungry thing trying to protect Londo Mollari from everybody and everything on the planet.
Which is great poetic justice because the thing is, he was denied nutrition, food, water, and all this stuff. So he's just like making them work for him. He's totally in the most peaceful, in a way, very polite and blunt way, getting revenge in the best way possible. I just love this.
Yes.
So,
And yeah,
go ahead, Elysium.
Just-
Floor is yours, bud.
Just thinking how much. I mean, I remember from season 1 where he was eating the entire pig's head for his lunch. How much does he expect a Centauri to feed him?
A family special that could feed like 4 Centauri.
Yeah,
Very spoorific too, I bet.
absolutely. I was just gonna say that, man. We were thinking the same thing. Spoo for lunch, spoo for dinner, spoo for a midnight snack, and spoo just because it's spooful.
Yes.
How about a
Sorry,
how about a spooful, Ambassador?
No, it's not cooked to the right consistency. This is far too well done. It has to be raw.
It's the other gray meat. Oh, no.
Yes.
Which is a good segue for next episode theme later.
Yes.
Well, man, the Centauri being used as that cat's paw because we know what's behind the throne right now. Mm-hmm. Even if Wanda doesn't realize it yet.
Something rather Drak.
And dreadful. And somehow Mr. Alexander can pull it off. Woo!
What's up, Drak?
A PPG eventually.
And I do like that. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead, Koj. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, I like that in the joy of all this catching up with Centauri Prime, that there's this undertone of a bigger problem that's been brewing, and we get to see that in this episode in a very cool way. And it's all behind the scenes, which is, again, more playing on that theme, Kingdom of the Blind, or what's this called? Oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's called Kingdom of the Blind.
Okay, just checking. I'm going over my notes as I just got home. But yeah.
Yes, everyone is blind in some way in this episode, especially Byron and his telepaths. Like, I get it; they're demanding certain things, but it's not like the Alliance can do much right now because they haven't been established for even 6 months by the time this stuff rolls around.
No, which tells you that the Drak are rather spectacular strategists. See,
Yeah, well, they know
too.
They know when they can get the Centauri out there to do stuff. I mean, unfortunately, the court showed them that they could easily manipulated from the Lord Rifas all the way down, because they don't really have a central good, emperor to hold things down.
No, and they won't.
They eventually will with Veer, eventually, but not right now.
Eventually.
Honestly,
Yeah, eventually. Go
Sorry,
ahead,
Master.
Alicia. No, go ahead, buddy.
Honestly,
You're fine.
I don't think it takes too much to manipulate the Centauri. It'll only take manipulating a few powerful at the top, because we see that when even with Jakar when he refused to whip the guard who whipped him, and Londo speaks, I think it's in the next episode, that Centauri are very big on duty. If someone above you orders you to do something, you do it without question. So it wouldn't take much to infiltrate in and take control of the Centauri, because the retainers, soldiers, and people below will follow because it's their duty.
Right. They have these rules in place that pretty much that's why the Centauri scheme and plot a lot of things to get into certain positions, because essentially when you're in a certain position, you have X amount of power to do whatever according to the rules of the court, and you can get away with stuff and change things. But it's a huge, it's like a social chessboard and risk game all at once with Centauri Prime. I feel.
Well, and let's be candid. The Centauri are like a species of cats. You dangle something shiny in front of them, they're going to play with it. And unfortunately,
Absolutely.
that's not the best way to run a government.
You know, it even ties into how Byron's using his telepaths to gain information on the ambassadors so that they can blackmail them later. Like, give us our homeworld. It's like, dude, you're not going to build up goodwill that way.
No, you're just going to do. All you're going to do is really just cheese everybody off. And speaking of people who cheese other people off, I'm joking, of course. Greetings, LDG of Geeks and Joy. It's good to see you, my friend. And it's been a minute. And LDG, I will be getting in touch with you and everything after the stream and everything, so we can have a sit down and discuss a few things in relation to the channel and just life in general. So, but as always, LDG, good to see you, buddy. So, well, and the other factor in this episode is we have known for some time now that the regent is going to die, and you don't almost, but you truly feel sorry for him because you get the impression that he wanted to do good. He
Well,
wanted
that I like. He was bubbly too. Like I'm thinking pastels. I like that.
Nice.
No. Yeah, and you honestly feel bad for him. You feel bad for the regent because he's not a bad guy. He got
Wrong place
caught
at
in
the wrong time.
Yeah, he legitimately was a victim of being in the wrong place at the wrong time because he was regent after an emperor who was completely and utterly mad. And want to send a shout to the chat to a couple of faces, one that we know very well and one that I do know, but I have not really had a chance to talk to, the Widow and Bureau 31. The Widow, it is
What's
a
up,
pleasure
Widow?
to see you again, my fellow Marvelite, my fellow Marvel fan. So it is good to see you. Thank you for popping in. And Bureau 31, always a pleasure to see you as well. So thank you for being here this afternoon. So anyway, Zod, you were saying, my friend.
Oh no, I was just saying hello to Widow. Widow's my
okay.
Widow is my
your
co-host for weekly
Yeah.
comic book movies every Friday night at 9 p.m. Central. So definitely tune into that. Shameless plug.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what movie are y'all reviewing tonight?
Well, tonight we're supposed to be talking about Thor Ragnarok, but I have a feeling the discussion may veer into Batman territory because the new Batman movie just came out.
Yeah. Well, very quick aside. I actually went and saw the Batman last night.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
not to spoil anything because I'm going to do my review later this weekend. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it tomorrow or maybe Sunday evening, but I will simply say this briefly. I was deeply impressed. Very deeply impressed. It was a very solid, entertaining movie. So, anyway, but yes, I do want to transition just for a few minutes. Now, if you want to come back to the Centauri storyline for this episode, we most certainly can. But I do want to get into the whole telepath situation. And
They're making it worse for themselves.
Yo, I don't like Byron even more so at this point because they're
Yes.
way too dependent and they're way too impatient and they're way too emotional and they're way too over demanding they're overstretching their means. And I think I think Byron's old school psychop obsession, lifestyle.
He's taking more of that training. Oh,
yeah, his like Bester side is taking the better side of him.
And I think the previous railroad telepaths had the better idea. They tried to do little things to help themselves and get lost and down below rather than agitating people.
Right.
Doing it them and us never works.
Well, the agitating people is the easy part. So.
I just got the sense compared to Byron's group of telepaths that the other telepaths were just doing just enough with their abilities to scrape by, but not really like do any hardcore violations. Like, yeah, and basically what Byron's people are doing is why people shoved them into Psycor in the first place. It's like, oh man, stop proving Bester right, please.
No, I have
legitimately. No, it's okay, Elysium. Go ahead, buddy.
Now, I've like I see Byron, and I described my old boss. I said that like he was ambition beyond ability. That Byron has big ideas, but he's not the man to lead them. He's just as bigoted. In fact, I think he's worse than Bester. He has an idea of peaceful coexistence, but with telepaths on top, and that's very dangerous. Perhaps
That
even
actually
more
kind of
dangerous.
aligns with the way Bester views things, though. Too
Yes.
kind of. It's almost like they could complement each other really, really well in like a high command situation.
Yep,
Yeah.
and I think subconsciously Byron does recognize that about himself, and that's why
Yep.
he's like, "I'm not good
Yeah.
enough," and he's constantly undermining himself.
Yes. He you can see his point, and you see the way even the good characters in the show treat telepaths, and it's pretty bad. So you can understand if this is how the best of society treats telepaths, what do the worst treat them? And so you can understand why they want protection. And I think I mentioned it in previous streams. I can see when I was in a really bad place myself, I could see the allure of someone like Byron saying, "Look, you're welcome here just because you're you. And we'll protect you, we'll look out for you, we'll look out for each other." And that's pretty powerful to people who are right at rock bottom and have nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
But it is so dangerous when he doesn't have the political mind, the mind to think that you don't piss everyone off, you don't attack people, you work, you do stepping stones, you work so far and get people on your side. You don't set out to cause maximum, you don't go nuclear.
Which is what he did in the end.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah,
And
because
that and tugging Lita along for the ride. He manipulated her. He might have loved her, but he also hardcore manipulated her.
well, here's the thing. Once he gets wise to what's happened, how the telepaths came to be in the first place, he's like got a massive chip on his shoulder. But unfortunately, the people he needs to have the chip on his shoulder they're not around no more because the Vorlons in the shadows and the rest of the first ones they went bye bye. So you're asking for reparations from somebody that isn't around to pay him.
And the Vorlons' mindset, they're going to close off their world and their technology until, air quote, we are ready. How stuffy is that? Like, oh God. So so Byron and his telepaths don't even have any kind of alternate road through even saying, okay, fine, we'll fly off into Vorlon space, because if Vorlon space won't accept them, it'll probably nuke them from orbit. Like,
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
with their like
defenses. It's like
automatic
easy.
defenses. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Man,
I
the
don't
Vorlons
like that he
shadows-
doesn't have a backup plan. I'm kind of disappointed in Byron for not going that far, which shows me how emotion. But then again, like Elysium has pointed out, they are pushed against the wall.
Byron is ruled by his emotions. That's the
Right.
that's the point. He tries to play it all off and make it seem like it's all in the name of a cause and all that, but it's all BS. He's led by his emotions just like everybody else. So
And that could be his habit from working with Bester in the
yeah,
Cyborg.
exactly.
Well, his name Byron, like what the famous poet, does he resemble like any kind of actions that poet took on certain things? I wonder.
No.
It does make me wonder, because sometimes they pick names, based on what that character might end up doing.
That's true.
Well, the thing is, if he's supposed to resemble Lord Byron, I don't see Lord Byron being that rash or being that hard-headed.
Or could be, wasn't Lord Byron the one that did the Osmodeus poem?
Ozymandias?
Yes. Or was that somebody else? I'd have to look it up.
I honestly don't remember.
I have a bad memory with it. Like, my mom used to call Byron Scott Lord Byron, so that's the Lord Byron I knew.
I don't think so. I don't think Lord Byron wrote Ozymandias. I think it was somebody else, but I can't remember who off the top of my head.
Alan Moore.
But no, it's the okay. Look upon my work, see mighty in despair. That actually kind of reminds me of what Byron is doing, in a way. It's just like,
Actually,
oh, man.
if you want to look at real life individuals that Byron might be comparable to, think military, but very capable military. And I'll just say, think Alexander the Great. But in this case, Alexander is a madman whose desire overdoes his reach. Something like that. I can't remember the exact.
Oh, and I did look up the poet
Phrasing.
for the other one, and that was like Shelley, I think.
Oh, Mary Shelley.
The other Shelley. Yeah, let me go back. Percy Shelley.
Okay.
I'm like totally bad with names. I remember phrases, but names, it's like, oh no, I better have quick notes.
Well, and here's the thing. Byron is pressing everybody because he wants what he wants and he wants it now. He's like a kid around Christmas time who sees the brand new shiny toy in the toy store or in the department store window. And he's like, I want it now, and I don't care what I have to do to get it. And in the process, he completely loses control of the group. And that is not a recipe for success. It's a recipe for disaster. And not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but next episode turns into a disaster. It actually turns into a tragedy. And
yes, the tragedy of telepaths. How on the nose is that? Ooh.
Oh, dang, that is the next episode. Wow.
yeah.
This
No.
is just
So this
setting
is
up-
even worse. His emotions.
it feels like season 5 is like, let's keep kicking everybody because, hey, we got to set up Crusade. Oh.
Yeah, we got to set up Crusade that literally goes nowhere.
And
Yeah.
then you'll have to look at the expanded books to get like an idea.
Right. It's just kind of like talk about a colossal race to nowhere. It's just
Yeah, that's a heartbreak,
Yeah.
especially for this universe. But
Yes.
thankfully, Zod, you gave me that order that JMS prefers to see Crusade in, and watching it in that order, or I don't know, watching it in that order. There we go. Feels more complete than watching it in order. And
yes,
it's easy to
absolutely,
let go.
absolutely. JMS's preferred order is the only way to watch Crusade to get any kind of substance out of it. Otherwise, it's just kind of a run of the mill TV show.
Right, and I have that playlist. I just got to put it on my channel or make it public.
Could you
Well,
send me
hey,
on that link too, Zod? Because I'd like to rewatch Crusade in the order.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cheers.
Well, you can Zod if you want to. If you want to
I'll
put
bring
that
it
in
up
our if you want to put that in our private chat on Twitter, you can do that as well. I mean,
I'll post a
by all
link to my
means.
playlist because it's all the episodes you could, if you buy the season on YouTube. I put it in the order so you could just watch it that way. Also, if you want,
Well, I've got
or
it on
just
DVD,
to see the
so-
playlist. Yeah, me too. I just buy it everywhere digitally. All about
Well, that's
that.
fine. And shout out to the chat, Fook Norris. Fook, it is good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you popping in. So, Fiona, you have put a lot of good quotes and a lot of good points in the private chat. I'm going to give you an we'll give you an opportunity to hit on some of these points or anything. So and continue our discussions. So, pick your quote, any quote. I don't care what, and let's have at it.
Well, we could go with the pastels part first. Once I would have thought pastels for the curtains, but I think we are well beyond pastels now. No bright colors anymore, just darkness. Because the poor guy's been suffering under Drak for about a year. I would say, at least. Because I think the Drak planted a keeper on him just right after Cartagia died.
Yeah, they wasted no time, and which sucks because it's like his tragedy. It's like he with Cartagia, he's a servant for Cartagia, and now he's a servant for the Drak.
I think he only spent a few weeks free of any kind of troubles.
Just to handle those pastels.
Yep. And like there's that other part where he's like God, what was it? Morden was yelling at Lotto's, our allies will come after you. Well, he meant that very literally.
Yeah.
It's like,
Very.
and I imagine, based on what the Drak were able to do, especially with messing with people's minds and everything, to like kind of bury, surgery, like because there's points where you can see how they're performing surgery to put keepers on people, and they use, I think, what was it, the one guys from season 2, I think the scribe, I think they're part of it every once in a while too, because
Yes.
so you look at that and like the Shadows probably gave them a couple of nice tech things before they buggered off with Lorien and everybody else. Unlike the Vorlons, which were like, no, you're not ready yet. It's like, look what the Shadows did. They gave their guys like a couple of galactic level nukes in technology,
Yeah, I gave him a couple of plant killers. And
Yeah.
Colin and everything, I remember you bringing this up a little while ago. Ian, our Ogilvy, is married to the lovely Catherine Holcomb, who used to be married to her McMahon's co-star, Bruce Boxleitner. Oh,
I think
okay.
Boxleitner's been married 3 or 4 times, I think.
Yeah, because he was married to obviously Melissa Gilbert of Little House on the Prairie, and unfortunately they got divorced a few years ago, which sucks. I feel bad for Bruce. I really do.
I think sometimes they have, like, actors and actresses have a harder time having a more stable married life just because half their stuff is out in the open all the time because everybody's got to know everything. But at least none of us have keepers on our shoulders that observe everything we do.
That's true. That is very true, and I'm very thankful for it. So,
oh man. And I even put in that quote that he does later on, like where I think I put it even in the chat. It's going to happen in a few episodes, or at least in another episode or two, where he's like, "At least I can still die a Centauri, and I'm not afraid." It's like, man, coming from a little guy like that, it's like the Drak Keeper wasn't able to completely break him. You go, Mr. Regent.
Well, in the midst of all this, you've got one of these uppity Centauri who's like, I'm not going to let you get in the way of my schemes, Londo. And who is it that saves Londo? The Drak. Stops a dagger in midair and just turns it and flips it and shoots it right back into the other guy.
Yeah, and then the Drak was able to do kind of like that memory Wuji stuff where I don't think Londo remembered it clearly. He looked like he was like waking up from a nightmare at one point because Jakar couldn't find him for a little bit either. So, it's like that's creepiness, man. The Drak have all sorts of lovely tools.
It's almost kind of creepy, especially that it comes out of one. It kind of reminds me. I'm wondering if JMS showing that a creature comes out of this other creature, like it's either given birth or it's asexual. If that's like a throwback to this Drak being similar to Enemy Mine Drak, as they are having their young come out of them on their own too. I was just wondering about that, but seeing as their names are sounding similar. They have the same themes, but yeah, this is super creepy. I don't like it.
Oh, man.
Especially like facehuggers, anything going in and out of other aliens and beings. I'm like, bleh.
As I'm watching a little bit of the episode in the background, like on mute to look at the words, and I forgot about this part where Sheridan's like, "Oh man, Byron's going about this in an inconvenient way," and then Sheridan cuts in with like, that was what my people said about the Earth Alliance Civil War. What your people were saying too. It's like, this is inconvenient.
Yeah, but here's the difference. Sheridan and his bunch were trying to get a tyrannical leader out of office. Byron's motivation is not unreasonable, but
yeah,
the way he's funny about it is not building a whole lot of sympathy with the people that he's wanting to have their aid.
So it's
Because
good, like good reason but bad process.
essentially, yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, okay, let's do a hypothetical here. Let's say we're all telepaths and we've been on the run for the majority of our lives. And we finally have an opportunity to be in a position where we could possibly get a home of our own, get a home world of our own. What's the best way to do that? To be a massive
I
pain in
would've-
the neck. To be a massive pain in the neck to the command staff and the people on B5, or try to be a little more accommodating, try to be a little more amiable, and not be a massive pack of, well, let's be candid, jackasses.
Yes, yes.
Here's what I would've
Being the jackasses is the best direction to go, because we all know if you really want to get something done and you want to achieve your goals, you have to do so well. For lack of a better way of explaining it, you have to choose violence. Unfortunately, but that's how societies are formed. That's how places are colonized. That's how it is. History tells you this. So
Ooh.
I
It's
mean,
the cold truth.
Yeah, but
it's the truth. Unfortunately, the
what's something-
telepaths have to flex their muscle to get what they want.
Here's the smarter way I would have done it. I'd be like, the Endless Shock have humans. They really used a lot of telepaths that they could in the war. The Minbari seem to treat their telepaths good. Hey, Ranger 1 Delenn, can I join the Endless Shock? I'll go through the training. Seriously, I really will.
I really will.
I'll get emancipated through being an Endless Shock. And then I'll be officially part of the Interstellar Alliance hierarchy and be like, hey, bye, Earth. You guys figure out what you're going to do, okay?
Oh, why did I picture Life of Brian? Help, I've been repressed.
that's also
I'm
from
not
Monty
repressed
Python.
anymore.
And
Yep.
shout out to,
Help.
just a quick shout to the chat to our resident.
Should I put the viewing order for Crusade in the main chat as well?
If you want to, Zod, that's perfectly fine.
More the better.
Entirely. But a shout out to our favorite quantum physicist from across the pond, the lady Yvette. Yvette's good to see you, my dear, and missed you. I'm missing you over on LDG's neck of the woods, and shut up, Elise, if you suck up. Anyway, Yvette.
Sometimes you look at all this stuff, and if you want to get ideas like, how would I write a character out of this kind of situation? Yes.
Oh, can't post it like that in the chat because it's limited to.
Well, you can just do it in parse.
Yeah, you
I popped the link Koj had in the private chat.
Koj dropped the link in the private chat, so if you just want to use that, go for it.
Yeah, I popped it in, so it's just under Koj's comment. Anyone who wants to see.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I mean, Burrito, sorry.
It's okay.
There you go.
It's okay, Koj. I've been munching myself, so don't feel bad. So, but honestly, you think about it, there's any number of ways, and Zod, I'm not saying that your rationale isn't wrong, because honestly, there is a lot of truth in it.
I'm not saying that that's necessarily a good thing. I'm just saying that that's the way that it is. I'm just saying that that's unfortunately the truth.
It's a tactic been used many times in the past.
Yes, it has. But I think in this particular context with the telepaths, they're in a very limited position. They're in the position where they need others to get by. They need others to even have the place where they are at. And they're okay. I don't know what happened with Byron, but ever since him and I'll try and I'm just gonna be blunt. Ever since him and Lita bumped uglies both physically and mentally, he's gone a little bit off the rails. Now I know some guys can get a bit of
that Psychor. It's that telepath That's that attachment. If what you're about to say is what I think you're about to say, I feel like it has to be compounded like double, maybe even triple for a telepath.
Well, essentially, what I was going to say is, ever since him and Lita bumped uglies, both physically and mentally, it's like he's gotten a massive boost in his male bravado, and he's like,
Yeah.
I'm Byron Big Balls telepath guy, and when in fact
Oh man.
you're Mr. Byron, with your long blonde sissy hair and your black suit, and I'm just so sad and pathetic, and I'm so just have pity on me because I just want something better for my people, although I'm a complete and utter idiot who goes about it the entirely wrong way. And then I decide to lock us all in here with limited food and limited water, while I'm just going to go on a hunger strike because that's how you get things done. And I'm like, you blithering idiot.
But they do have dope shampoo and conditioner somehow, because that. But
Oh,
yeah, I'm
man.
with you, because he's done quite the turn. So I think for that one, especially him being so emotional, maybe the practice of abstinence would help his persistence in doing the right thing.
You
Man.
think?
That time is behind us now.
And,
as
and
he's
this,
been in
near the
other
end of
behind
this
us.
episode,
Behind us.
though, Sheridan has to rescind his protection because of the way the telepaths have been going about things. And then then they bunker down and close off their section of down below, and hoard the food and whatever else. And it's just like, oh my god, this isn't going to end well. And then, of course, you know, I think it's like the next episode that Bester comes back in, riding in gallantly smug, like, I told you. God.
Yeah, that's like his
And
everyday look.
Elysium. And Elysium.
I couldn't help it. It was
I have to say this. Well, I don't have to say this. I'm just gonna put this up here.
Well, that means Jakar's the king because he's the one that has one eye.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, for the
He's being the king right now with the Centauri. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That fits.
Yeah.
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
y'all
I
keep
could,
it
but I
up.
didn't.
Y'all keep it up, and this is gonna happen.
Oh God.
Oh.
Man, just the way that the poor poor regent's acting, you know, he's like motioning to Malari, and it's almost like a maniac kind of like a hysteria. But it's because he's trying to act that way, kind of like how the Captain Jack guy was trying to warn everybody when he had a keeper on his shoulder. You know, the more outrageous he's acting, the more he's trying to get people's attention.
That's true.
But unfortunately, he tells Londo, "Oh, they like you, and that's not good. That's really not good."
Well, you
Because that reaction looks like an internal fight between what they want to do and what they are limited to doing. Because, you know, he was that other guy he had the Drak kill that he was talking to. I forgot his name and position, but, you know, he was like a nephew to him. Or it was his nephew. I can't remember the relationship, but he said that he held him when he was a child and all that. So I imagine
Lord
that's
Jono?
very painful
Wait a
for him
minute.
to do.
Oh,
Wasn't
no,
it
yeah.
Lord Jono?
Yes.
I think so. Either that or Vol.
It was a nice guy in the
Vol-
beginning.
Yeah, Bull was the guy who was killed by the
The-
Drak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Vol.
yeah,
Yeah,
Vol
Vol was to kill
being a-
Drak.
That looked very hard and painful for the region because he's limited to express and tell certain things because of the, you know, the control of the neurological situation there. But I think that's why he's shaking, because it's kind of like, you know, you see Zack Snyder's Watchmen when Dr. Manhattan blinks a certain way. It's really him expressing how he cries. So for Regent, when he's more erratic, maybe he's having a very terrible time, because that's horrible what he has to witness and allow.
I think when you remember back, he's the guy who took Veer's report from when he was the ambassador to Minbar. And he was really competent. He said, no, I can see Londo's fingerprints all over your report. please send us the correct report. So
Yes, that's him.
Marini is really intelligent, really good, really competent, and I'd say almost on a par with Londo. But acting, as you're all saying, is correct. Him acting weird is just a cry for help. But I think we see in the next episode, Londo says weird acts are just ignored. It's, people are trained to avert their eyes. So no matter how much he's crying out for help, people are averting their eyes, trying to pretend they don't see. It's like Cassandra. He's crying, but no one's listening.
Yeah.
And in some ways, like
worse.
Byron.
Well, actually,
Elysium,
from the looks
good
of it,
reference.
but from the looks of it, like Londo and Jakar do sit up and take notice, and eventually, Veer will figure stuff out because he knows who Londo is. So when Londo's acting weird as the Emperor, he's like, there's something else going on here. Mm-mm.
Well, and if you think about it, these next several episodes of season 5 of B5 are very much, they tie very closely into the whole genre of Greek tragedy. I mean, you look at everything that's about to happen, that has happened, that's going to happen. It's like a bloody Greek tragedy. It's okay. One of the most notable Greek tragedies ever done, but minus the, how do I say this politely? The very loving son, loving mommy issues, i.e., Oedipus Rex. That is a whole tragedy. That is one of the best known Greek tragedies ever written, and we're looking at a sci-fi version of one. The telepaths are going stupid. The Centauri are about to be blasted across the universe, and there's obviously ways that it could all be stopped, but at the same time, it can't be stopped.
And part of that is because the people that could stop it haven't consolidated, their alliance enough yet, because it's still in its infancy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly. And it's heart-wrenching because we all like Londo. We've got Londo went through a very dark period in his story arc, and now he's gotten back to a place where he's decent again. And now we're about to see a very dark curtain fall on him, and from there it's all just downward for him, and it stinks, and our heart breaks for him.
Mm-hmm.
It really truly does, because even when Londo was at his worst, when he was doing things that we by no means could support and endorse, we wanted him to be better. We wanted him to do better. We wanted him to get himself out of this funk. And unfortunately, with all the decisions that he's made, it's sadly too late.
That, and they're all, but Byron, as much as he wanted to escape Bester, is playing right into what Bester wants. And it's just like, stop it! No, you're about to go off the cliff, you stupid lemming! Stop it!
Yes, and we all know that Sheridan doesn't negotiate with terrorists. He's consulted with Captain Lockley. It's gonna be something.
Oh.
And heck, even Lockley could see the cluster duck that was coming.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Because the duck was definitely quacking.
These are all things that Byron made worse. I'm sorry, I'm still leaning on that one.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
It's all Byron's fault.
It's like this is a slippery slope,
No.
So be careful.
it makes me think, like, where did
And
most
Byron
of
puts on the
Byron's
skis?
followers come from? Were they all like with him from the start, or did he like free them from
it was a douches club mixer, and they all got together and
because it seems like the Underground Railroad telepaths had a lot more street smarts than these guys did.
Also diversity, and I don't mean just ethnicity. I mean, like, you can see different types of people, class of people. Byron has a certain attire and dress code and stuff.
And yeah,
There's
the
a
rest of
little-
his people are
some
more.
extra,
A certain, a certain style. Yeah.
Yeah,
certain,
and some
like
of the
rule book, a certain.
they have certain subset of skills, but they over rely on their telepathic skills rather than developing regular skills, which the Underground Railroad guys developed a lot of their regular skills alongside their telepathic abilities.
I
So
would be
And,
surprised if Byron did the hanky pank before, which is probably why everyone's all like, "Oh, something's going on in this room. Let's all watch like we
well,
usually do with our
here's
minds."
okay. I'm gonna be a bit tongue in cheek here. It looks like Byron scoured the Underground Railroad or just the telepath community and looked for the biggest long-haired douches and douchettes that he could possibly collect. And it's like, hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all start hanging out together and we'll go to Babylon 5 and we'll be okay for a little while, but then we'll start acting like complete and utter douches and we'll just drown the entire station in our douchiness.
oh
It'll
man,
it'll be Byron's telepathic brand douche.
that I get the
There you
sense that
go.
the
Mhm.
Underground Railroad guys, in comparison to Byron's group, some of them probably never even experienced Psychor. They've just been on the run off the grid their whole lives. I mean, sure, they had a couple of them that escaped Psychor,
And they
the
want to
one
and they
lady.
want to belong to someone. They want to be validated.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
essentially
Yeah, that's true.
being with Byron gives them that validation that they need.
Exactly. Following him, he's definitely got his own circle.
I
little
get,
thing.
and I also get the sense that really of all the telepaths they have there, Lita and Byron are probably the most geared towards doing offensive protection. Because if you see how the rest of them interact when they get ganged up on, they rely too much on their mental capabilities and they get wrecked.
Mm.
So it makes me wonder how powerful the rest of them are in comparison. Because it seems like even Talia held her own in most situations. She at least knew how to fire off a PPG.
And I think Talia would have been a good. Byron is too emotional, and these people are broken, and
Yeah.
very easy to let the anger out. Talia, I think, would have been a fantastic leader, and would have
Yeah.
really balanced off Byron much better than Lita. Lita has been really abused by Borlons, by society, by her friends. So there was no breaks on the levels of idiocy they were going to go to, and
Ugh.
understandable with those people because they've been abused and they're looking to lash out, and I think they've weapons.
You know
I
what?
still blame Byron. He said he made
That could have been
okay.
part
Well,
of
it is all
Talia's
Byron's-
redemption arc to come back to the station had the character stayed on. That, you never know.
True.
They could have freed the real Talia using Kosh's little sunspot surprise recording.
Yeah, he didn't get a chance to play that card. That was his ace. He was gonna.
So maybe it's a
Wow.
roundabout way Kosh was going to try to prevent this from happening, but since that character's no longer a part of the overall thread in the show, well, we got Byron.
But
Yes.
I
At
also
least
We got
worry.
Byron.
Something must have happened to our Jovian sunspot drinker, man. What happened to him? You know what I'm saying?
Byron.
Oh, you mean the vicar? The vicar?
Yeah, man. Did he get a computer virus and he passed out forever, or what's going on? Like, I
Oh.
worry about that guy. He had the key to save Talia.
Unfortunately, she was, what did Bester say? She was dissected before he
Oh.
could actually help.
Well, because unfortunately, the personality that was in there was be like, "Yes, Psychor. What do you want me to do, Psychor? How far do you want me to jump, Psychor?" Oh boy, I have no free will anymore. I love the Psychor.
But I wonder, was that, I think we see it in a later episode where the split personality, where one telepath had more, one personality had more psi ability than another. So maybe Talia's, what did she call herself, Dark Sister, might have only been a P5 or P6 and been unable to access any of the abilities that Ironheart gave her.
Yeah, because they had different side levels.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
Colin brings up a
Even
very
lower.
valid point here. Byron is perhaps a cautionary tale of what happens when you give desperate people no choice.
Yes.
Colin,
Very much,
very
so.
well said. And that's
Not
true
just that,
because
but who chooses all those songs, man? That was creepy.
but
Elysium did bring this up in the private chat. The Bionic Hero. You know what? Maybe that's where JMS got Byron from then. The Bionic Hero represents idealized but flawed characters whose attributes include great talent, great passion, a distaste for society and social institutions, a lack of respect for rank and privilege, although possessing both, being thwarted in love by social constraint or death, rebellion, exile, and an unsavory secret past.
Wait, is that the definition or is that Byron?
Yeah, from the wiki about it. But yeah, that does fit Byron.
Well,
it
that
sounds like
also-
you're describing him.
Well, it also sounds like somebody else, another character we all know very well. That's, of course, Anakin Skywalker. Think about it.
I see it, man.
Well, he did have an unsavory past because he got born into slavery. I can see where that's the unsavory part.
Well, not to mention he killed Tusken Raiders, although who gives a rat's ass about Tusken Raiders, especially when they kill your mom.
Arrogance, overconfidence, or lack of foresight, and ultimately a self-destructive manner. Yep.
Well, you're also talking about the You're also talking about the Jedi High Council.
That
But
too.
just
Even
mugs,
in the old
marmy,
tales.
self-absolved chair sitters. Oh, look at us. We sit in a tower in big comfy chairs and we do absolutely nothing, although there's slavery in the universe and we have
But
the
we
power
all,
to
but
do
we
something.
do judge, but we do judge others. That's for sure.
Yes, we totally, completely and I'm Mace Windu, and I'm the biggest douche in Star Wars.
It's like a reoccurring theme.
Universe books. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, it's easy
Let
to
me do
judge. It's
something.
easy to judge. It's easy to judge somebody from the comfort of a nice chair. Let's just put it that way.
That's
And
true.
just remember, they did get one guy to pay for that pizza all those times.
All right, Yarlift Poof.
Oh,
Yes, I know here. The robot chicken shorts.
Yes, that one.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
brilliant.
Oh, I gotta see those again.
Oh, those! Have you all seen the all three parts where he ends up as a cook on the Death Star?
Oh yeah.
He
Oh,
works.
my
He's a
God.
cafeteria worker on the Death Star.
The element.
Goes from a Jedi Master to a cook.
Oh, and I'm just now remembering this. The Regent would try to drink the keeper under the table too, but he couldn't hold his liquor as well as Londo.
Right.
That's true.
Yep, and
No.
because apparently you can lull the keeper to semi consciousness by getting it super drunk. And even
Pretty
its
much.
little connections to your nervous system don't work as well.
Which
Luckily
just
for
goes to show-
Londo, he had a power to imbibe much alcohol.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's
those-
kind of like his skills were put to use later.
Well, not to
He must be
mention,
Irish.
let's just.
Oh, God.
Not saying anything, but I can say it. I'm Irish.
Yes, you are. You can say it. We can't say it, but you can say it. Thanks a lot.
I just have
Lucian.
tequila, bro.
I just
Yeah.
have good scotch.
Ooh. And I forgot, this was in the Centauri trilogy of books, but there's a certain kind of keeper. Here, I'll link it in the
Oh.
chat. Yes, there's a certain kinds of special kind
Oh.
of keeper.
Oh.
What? I can't fit it in that regular chat, but I can put it in the private chat. Yay! I can even read it off from there too. A Dreamweaver was a special offshoot breed of keeper used to create and implant dreams while subject sleeps. In the late 2262, good old Mr. Alexander Drak Shivalka used a Dreamweaver to encourage Drula's ambitions and urging him to send archaeological teams to a various planet. But yeah, it's like that. The Drula guy was pretty paramount to the Centauri Prime trilogy, where Veer had to constantly countermand him via resistance. But yeah, that's creepy. Oh man.
That's super creepy and super scary because one of my favorite Kryptonian, Superman, whatever stories is the ones about the Black Mercy, where it takes control of your dreams and you're in this like Matrix, hallucinogenic, fabricated world that they're creating for you. So adding that on top of a creature that controls you throughout the day, oh man, there's no freedom. That's horrible.
Yep.
I'd rather just take a peep. I'd just rather take a PPG and put it right next to my heart and go, zzz. Oof, I'm done.
Yeah, but they wouldn't let you do it, which is horrific.
But I wonder if the Keeper would have enough stuff to revitalize you. Because I know Captain Jack used to shoot his Keeper off and like try to explode it and stuff, but it kept growing back. Oh, because it does bind to your nervous system.
Yeah, which is crazy because then if it does that, then it could use your own body's resources like a parasite to rebuild itself and grow.
Because I'm guessing that's the reason why Jakar was able to strangle Londo to death at the end, because Londo was so drunk. Because you can see it, his hand opens and a bottle kind of falls out, and he's talking to Sheridan Delenn, and then afterwards Jakar comes in, and it's just like, oh.
When just you think though, Jakar did kill 3 armed Centauri with his bare hands in this episode.
Oh yeah, Jakar is strong. We gotta remember he military press slammed through a guy across the room in season 1.
He made a very agreeable thump.
You gotta remember,
a good wrestler. I know that.
A warrior monk, emphasis on warrior.
That's true.
I'm disappointed that Babylon 5 wrestling game never came to fruition, because that would have been awesome. I would pick.
I'm working on it.
I would pick Jakar every time.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah, they were going to have a fighting game. It was one of the things. It was supposed to come out after the Sega Genesis Babylon 5 game, the flight simulator.
Yeah, Unfortunately, the only Babylon 5 game that actually came out was the one where it was like a version of Galaga with like Star Furies.
Yo, I still play that.
People do make a lot of Babylon 5 mods for a lot of Stellaris type games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But wrestling in Babylon, all I'm thinking is
I'm trying to do that on my show, so
I'm just trying to think, like, does that mean like a Babylon 5 version of Shaq Fu would happen?
It would be more like think about the episode. Yeah. Think about the episode TKO. From the first season, I think it would be more in line with that. But you would definitely have certain characters that would have excessive strength, like Jakar. Be incredible.
Actually, Sinclair would have been another
to answer Colin Archer there, wanting to know what Sheridan saw after he and Delenn had been taken away. That's in the Centauri trilogy. Yeah, well, but it's also in the Centauri trilogy. It expands on that after they meet
Fire trilogy.
Yeah. Yep, you'll see it in that 3rd book. Oh boy. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this much. If somebody comes up with a mod for Babylon 5 for Skyrim, I will download that thing in a heartbeat. I want to play as Ambassador Kosh. Fun fact, actually, my current character's name is, in fact, Kosh Nanarek. He's a high elf. Anyway.
I like that.
Oh, and I'm tweaking him out as a master magic user, because I feel like that would be what Kosh would do. Use magic, which is essentially what his powers would be perceived as magic.
Yeah, I see him doing telekinesis and all this stuff, all left and right.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Well, guys and gal, go ahead, Lysium.
That was just one thing here. It was the way Byron tricked Garibaldi. I think this is something that really pushes him into alcoholism. This incident here, he's had a lot going on, and this was one of those really ones that really pushed the bottle into his hand. I just saw it in my notes there.
I agree. Also, yeah. No, I had a thought, but I think it was a stretch like that. One time when he read his mind, nah, he wouldn't trigger anything. Never mind. I take it back. I'm not gonna say it.
Okay, that's fine. Well, guys, gal, I think we've pretty much covered this episode, unless you've got any other thoughts you want to get out there. And if so, this is the time to do it. So, floor is open as always.
I would say this episode is called the precursor to a Bester going, "I told you so," Part 1.
Yes. Part one.
Mhm.
Part 1.
True.
Especially love your emphasis on part 1 because I that's exactly how I feel.
Because the next episode is going to be like, the shoe is about to drop. And then the episode after that is going to be like, the shoe is really dropping. Oh, hi.
And now, and the episode after that will be, well, damn, the shoe dropped and it exploded all over the place, and there's bits of heel there and there and there and there and there and there and there, and oh, wait a minute, there's some heel on Londo's face.
Yep, because this isn't the last bit with the telepaths. Like, no, Buster's going to be sticking around for a couple episodes to cause more mayhem.
Yeah. Unfortunate household name.
Hashtag told you so. Hashtag blame Byron. Yes. Hashtag blame Byron. Byron, this is all your fault, you big blonde-headed butthead.
You big blonde-headed butthead. That's perfect.
You and your pretty hair.
The emphasis on butthead was wonderful.
I wasn't seeing that comment. I appreciate that.
Try saying that 5 times fast.
And this won't even be the last of Bester. We'll get to see him drag along some newbie telepaths to the core in another couple episodes. How unfortunate for them.
Oh, Lordy. If it never rains, it besters.
Oh, man. And when that happens, it's a typhoon and not a gentle spring. Oh, no.
Well, I'll say I'll try working on that because I have one of my series on my channel is Snarker Fighters and my own pro wrestling.
Spider Cut Fighters,
which I have Zod Rider and you Ambassador fighters inspired by you guys in there. So I have been thinking about doing some Jakar, Babylon 5 characters, and now that we mentioned it, I'm definitely going to aim to make that happen. So that's something to look forward to, and I have nothing else to add.
Excellent. Well, everybody, I want to thank you all for tuning in to this afternoon or this evening, or if you catch us on the replay. And we, of course, will be back next week with another installment of the Council of Ones. I will be going live this weekend. I'm not exactly sure what I'm covering yet. I know I'm going to be covering the Batman. So just keep an eye on my social media and everything on Twitter and Instagram for updates on that. And I might do a retro review stream maybe. But as I said at the start, both of my major projects for the channel going forward will be starting up here within, I'd say, at least a month, give or take, say April or early May for sure. So
nice.
But I just saw this in the chat. Like his braids grew out with his hair. That just reminds me of that meme where the guy's sitting on a chair made of his own brain, like a big thinker. We could do that with Byron. It's a chair made out of his hair.
I like that.
Oh, mercy.
Much love to the poor guy that plays Byron. He really is a good actor.
Robin Aiken down.
He is. He's been in other stuff. He's even been in video games. But it's like I'm just like Byron. Byron was the low point of season 5 for me. Oh,
Yeah,
Oh,
I have to
Yeah.
agree.
I think he's a low point more because he's a believable character and a dangerous character than I think him being a bad character. For me, he does a really great job at it.
Oh no, he's a fantastic character. Oh, and he's a fantastic actor. Like I just totally forgot about this point. It's a weird one. This might be breaking the fourth wall for some people, but
It's
it's
okay.
like how
We
the
do that all the
actor
time
went
here.
in how the actor, I forget his name, sorry, went in to kiss Lita Patricia Tallman. He did a very caring, like, because I like actors who don't have to touch each other for a kiss scene or go, because that's a little too much sometimes, and in my opinion, it's a little too much. But some actors, they'll just really kiss and just go for it, like no big deal. But when he went in to kiss her in the beginning, he did a very theater head tilt. His lips didn't even touch her, and when he put his hand to her neck, he like bent his, like, I think pinky finger just so the tip of the pinky could touch her. So he was like, not only his pinky was really touching her, and the actors were so good to sell it so well as a sincere little sweet kiss, and they didn't even touch each other, and it was just nice to see that kind of courtesy between two working actors, and very professional and very talented to make it look so seamless. I just have to give him a hats off for that
Here's
tiny
something
little
fun.
kiss.
Well said.
It was really good.
He also played Moran in the beginning, the Warrior cast.
Yeah, he's one. I think we said that before, but yeah, he is. He's and then I see more Byron there. I was like, that's who you really are. That freaking. He's like, especially when he's talking about how he loves, like, humans are people I could touch and kill. Then the shadows.
The humans
yeah.
are a real enemy, an enemy I can touch, see, and kill.
That speaks out for, like, because I feel like, I'm getting that sense of Byron right now. But yeah, good actor. Good moment. I like that part.
It's a testament to how much I'm like, I react to a character where it's just like, wow, oof. Yeah.
And Drake Texan, dude, that is awesome. You actually got to hang out with the actor who played Byron, so a little envious, just a little. So, anyways, folks,
That's awesome.
That is. That's going to be the stream for this afternoon. We will, of course, be back next week with another installment. So be sure to, if you're not already, hit that reminder bell, the notification bell. That's the word. Notification bell.
And subscribe to the ambassador, please. We got to get this man to 1,000 subscribers. He does a lot of great work. Just
hell
say
yeah.
that.
I try, and I thank you, and I want to thank you all for all your support, for all your friendship, for all the great times we have here each and every week. And this stream, these reviews would be nothing without all of you who tune in each and every week, for those of you that watch them on the replay. And just know that this, for us, this isn't something we have to do. This is something that we love to do. And as I have said, and I will continue to say, the Ambassador Wing is for everyone, regardless of the decade, regardless of the fandom. When you hit that link, you enter here, you are an ambassador, and you are a part of this community. And we are grateful to have all of you along for this journey. Whether you've been here from the start or whether you just came along for the ride recently, you come in here, you enter the Ambassador of the Wing, you are an ambassador. And we love you guys. And with that said, this is the Council of Ones signing off, as we often do, in 3, 2, 1. Zooty.
Zoot.
Zoot.
Yeah.
Zoot.